How have you been? Long time no hear. How have you been? Hi, Jane. How have you been these days?
Recruiting is the toughest thing. So how have you been able to assess talent? I'm sure there's...
How have you been able to reconcile these points of view?
Caterer is probably the same thing. How have you been able to stick around and do well for 30 years?
Very different environment than Grayston. How have you been able to leverage technology to help promote the history of Grayston and what you're doing now?
How have you been motivated to be so proactive?
But coming out of there.
How have you been able to do this successfully over so many years without being fluent in Chinese or Cantonese?
Hey, Gary.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
How have you been?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I've been really well.
Right here. All right. How long have you been a Christian? So,
My goodness, but I have these projects that I want to do and start pitching shows. How have you been able to navigate some of that?
So could you tell us how have you been?
It's been a big...
How have you been able to kind of navigate that? Is it one of those where...
How have you been able to manage to do so many amazing projects while working in the corporate world?
Have a seat.
Hi. Have a seat.
All right.
Oh, how have you been?
Have should start soon.
How have you been able to balance that and work and surfing and everything?
Yeah, I guess.
So how have you been doing that department? Have you been really demonstrating who you are to the world?
And the meetings, how have you been able to, what have you learned about engaging the corporate...
Cold drink in the shade. How have you been spending your summer?
Well, the GOV show.
How you been, man? It's been a while. We haven't done this.
Yes.
It's good to see you again, Peter.
And how have you been since the last 6 months that I saw you?
How are you? Good, how are you? Good, thank you.
Let me just close this door.